Father God, may you bless our daughter Abu. May you grant her serenity today. May you bring her back from school 1% smarter. May you give and open the eyes of her spirit to identify her gift and her purpose in this life. May you give her the courage, the resilience, the determination, and the vision to stay on that path. Amen. You have a good day. And we'll see you. You take the bus back?
Oh, you're supposed to pick me up early.
Okay, that's fine.
And I think the 7th grade one starts at 10:45, so I think ours ends at 10:40 or 10:30 or 10:30 to 10.
Just text me then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Guys, so I just dropped my daughter at school, okay? And for those who don't know me now, my name is Gustav Biachu, and I help first, second generation immigrants to teach them how to uncover their purpose, how to use that purpose to build wealth, to invest in assets, and to build a lasting legacy. I'm a wealth strategist and a legacy architect. And so I just got through from dropping my daughter at school, and I did one of the things which is my routine and one of the most powerful moments of my day. As a father, each time I drop my daughters, I put my hand upon their head and I pray over them. I do this when I drop them at school in the mornings, and I do this at night when they are sleeping. And I don't go through, everyone has their style. I'm not one of those who will start praying and incantating and shouting and getting under the spirit. If that is your style, it's fine, but that's not my style. My prayers are never long. As you heard it, I put my hand upon my last daughter here, and I said, Lord, may you bless and protect her as she go to school. As you're bringing her back from school, may she come back home 1% smarter than she went. May you open the eyes of her spirit to identify her gift and her purpose in this life. And may you give her the courage, the determination, the tenacity, and the vision to stay on the path of her purpose. You see, I do that very intentionally, guys. Of course, when I ask my daughter, what are the problems you like to solve? What kind of career are you looking at? She wants to be a neurosurgeon. I pray for her to become a neurosurgeon, of course. I pray for her to become that and to make sure that it aligns with her purpose and her mission in this life. Because one of the things as human beings we don't pay much attention to in this time and age, especially because of the marketing of life and happiness and contentment only being tied to material things, a lot of people don't realize that the real contentment in life certainly comes first from being able to express the inner gift and the inner endowment, the purpose you have in this life, to express that either through your job, through the things you do. The most important thing is being able to find a way to tie that purpose to an expression that is economically viable and can permit you to live a comfortable life. So what happens is that we focus a lot more on careers, on what we want to do, which will give us money, instead of also making sure we find a way to align our purpose. And I don't minimize money. I don't even minimize the need to have a wonderful career. In fact, I am not one of those who will tell you, I don't tell my children, just follow your purpose. Follow your dreams, follow your purpose. No. Life is not like that. In the sense that there are some practical things in life you must respect. You need to be able to earn a living income. You need to be able to make some money to afford a certain kind of lifestyle, right? But in that process, it is also important to align your purpose along with that. The reason I say so is because when we are much younger in life, we don't think a lot about how life evolves. And we don't think a lot about it because, number one, we don't have the experience. Number two, at that time, we feel on top of the world, right? You are energetic and all of that stuff. And number three, you really don't think long term. You only think the short term. But there is something I've experienced as I'm getting older in my life. I am 49 years young now, and I'll be 50 years younger next year, right? There is something I've experienced in my own life so far. I realized that at a certain point in your life, right about the age of when you're getting close to 50, you start feeling and thinking and seeing life differently. What I mean by that is the most important things to me right now in my life, number one, is the ability to have internal peace. Number two is also being able to find contentment in the things I do. To be able to know that what I am doing doesn't only reward me, but it has impact on other people. Because at this point in life, you realize that some of the things you thought were important are no longer as important. I am a professional MC. I've done that for 17 years. I no longer do as many events as I used to do, right? But the key is this. The key is that I actually, some of the things I used to cherish a lot, like the suits I have to wear to these events, my shoes and all of that, it's not as important to me again as it used to be. What is most important in my life now from the material perspective is liquidity. The ability to have the financial resources to do the things I like to do, when I like to do them, and with who I like to do them. To move like I want to move. To go to different places that I want to go to. Right? To afford a certain lifestyle for my family. But most importantly too, while doing all of that, to find a way to make sure that my purpose, my gift, my calling can pay. And in my case, it has been helping to pay a lot of my bills for me. The ability to speak, the ability to convince people to see themselves differently from what their circumstances is telling them. The ability to go past people's minds and touch their hearts and souls where resides their sacred desires and give them the courage to lift themselves up. The ability to teach people, especially immigrant people who come to America, who come to Canada, are not very sure how to invest and duplicate their money legally, formally and safely. I teach all those things. Investing. Yesterday I had a client. I went and visited my client to review his account. He couldn't believe that from December of 2025 till now where we are talking, which is May 21st, his account has already grew by almost 17%. He couldn't believe. I told him, be patient. I told you that I am giving you a 15-year plan. Your job is to just make sure you generate resources to get invested. Don't look at your account. We'll be looking at it once every 4 months for the next 15 years. Just leave it alone and see what will happen. So life is a series of decisions, but also it's important to be a little bit patient. So I pray over my daughters a lot because as a father, my blessings mean everything to them. It's my moral, spiritual, and divine ordained responsibility to protect and pray over them. We hear a lot about a man has to protect and provide. That's not your entire job. No. Your work is not only to protect and provide. Yes, there's a work to protect and provide. We all know when God created the Garden of Eden, for those who are Christians, when God created the Garden of Eden, he put Adam on the Garden of Eden before bringing Eve. The first thing he gave Adam as a man was work. Wasn't a woman or a relationship. God gave Adam work. Go and work. So as a man, we want to work. But let's not get deceived by the modern day videos and all this crazy stuff on social media about the fact that if you can't provide, it means you are no longer a man, you are no longer a father. No, life happens. Sometimes you will lose your job. Sometimes you might not have cash flow. Sometimes you might be building a business and going through a difficult time. Listen, all those things is normal. But when you're going through those periods, don't forget your primary responsibility, which is to protect. Protect implies physically protecting your children and your family, but also spiritually protecting them, praying for them, uplifting them, building their spirit, building their belief system, building their confidence. For a very long time now, immediately I realized this many years ago, I started communicating with my daughters differently because I realized that I have to build their confidence. I have to build their belief in themselves. Nobody will do it for me. If I let the world do it, they will instead shatter it because the world usually tries to break your belief system. The world usually tries to break your confidence. So it's my job as a father not only to protect them physically, but mentally. I build a fence around their belief system. I build a fence around their minds. So when they go out to the world and people try to push them and break them, they'll be able to recover again. So if you're sitting out there and you're listening to me, I hope this makes sense to you. I hope you understand now why it is important, especially as a man, to always put your hand upon the head of your children and pray for them. Put your hand upon the head of your wife and pray for her. And the wife and your partner can also pray for you. Right? You don't have to be a sinless person. No. As a human being, there is a certain amount of grace God gives you for just being alive. There is a lot of things you get for doing nothing. For doing nothing. We cannot control that. It's by God's grace. And so as his children, it is our privilege to go back to him and ask for forgiveness and beg him to continue to strengthen us. In spite of our frailties, in spite of our imperfections, right? Live your life. Protect your mind. Don't get caught up in every little thing tweaking your mind and putting you in positions where you start feeling like you don't deserve the grace of God. You deserve it. Nobody can control that, only God. And so when you ask God to come and bless your children, you ask your ancestors, because where I come from, our ancestors are important to us and it's part of our spiritual life. Our spiritual life is not only Christianity, but we also have our traditional practices that are very powerful. I asked my mother, who died 25 years ago. I asked my father, who died 5 years ago. I asked my great-grandfathers, who died 30, 40 years ago. My brothers who have gone, I asked them to bless my children every day. I asked them to put their spirit over my children, to oversee them, to make sure they protect them every day. Right? So I want to say, if you've been watching this video so far, I believe you found something valuable in it. Why don't you give me a like, give me a thumbs up? Why don't you go ahead and share this video with other people? Subscribe to the channel, right? Look down in the description. There is a link if you want to meet me one-on-one so I can look at your investment portfolio. I can give you some strategies on how to grow that portfolio safely. I can give you some different ways to build your investment confidence. Book a one-on-one appointment with me for a very small fee, right? Let's have a 1-hour chat. That will be a diagnostic call where I look at your portfolio and I give you some strategies to make things better and to build a wonderful life for yourself. I will see you at the top. And if nobody ever told you, you are enough. I'll see you in the next video.